A very warm welcome to you to the Calmpills podcast. And I'm using this medium to say I am here. And I'm letting the world know that I'm here and that I will be here through my work and through the choice to be brave. What about you? I hope that you're here because you want to allow life to express itself through you. Today we dive into a subject that most people will not stick around long enough to listen to. And that is the subject of the illusion of success. We know that success means different strokes for different folks, but here I'm going to define what I mean by success, and I'm going to also define who I'm speaking about when I'm talking about this kind of success that we're talking about. Once upon a time, I used to think, as I watch fellow creators put their contents out there, would be like, God, when will my time come? And I'm sure you probably felt the same way as well. Even though I have learned so much from the content creators that are putting their stuff out there, they too are letting the world know that they are here. And I think it's fundamental for us not to think small or be small, but to really express the desires that we have, as long as it aligns with the will. You might call it the universe, because different people call it different things. But let's talk about aligning ourselves with source. Let's define what success means. One definition says success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. And I know many people put things out there to say success means wealth, it means health, it means abundance, and it can be all of those things put together. But where we think it is an illusion is when people put it out there that success happens all at the same time. In other words, success is linear. Success for me is like Thor's hammer. If you know the character, Thor, he sends his hammer out there. It goes out, it does what he wants it to do. And he's 100% sure that that hammer is coming back in his hands. Now, sometimes it doesn't come back straight away. It hits on trees, it goes under the water, it goes into the water, it goes up into the sky. And in other words, the hammer faces many obstacles before it comes back into the hand of Thor. I say that to say this: progressive success is something that sometimes we don't realize that we have reached that level of success, because we're taking smaller steps to get to where we want to be. For me, lasting success means that we understand the difference between joy, and suffering, and we understand what it takes to get from one stage or from one emotion to the next. Technically speaking, joy as well as unhappiness sits on the same line, but there are variations or gradients of these feelings or emotions that we experience, and many times we can actually learn how to adjust these feelings to get ourselves into a state where we can manage these emotions. So the prerequisite for success means that we can understand the state of being in which we are existing right now, and that we can change these states with principles or with certain techniques. We can change from hatred to love. We can change from not having enough to abundance. If you want to see how much there is and how much abundance there is around you, just take a look at creation. Take a look at the plants and see how they multiply themselves. Did you know that it takes just 7 grains of seed, 7 grains of orange seed to produce a tree? And on one tree could bring forth over 300 oranges. That is just one example of how things in our material world can increase or express itself in such a way that it brings forth so much more, even more than the seeds that were planted. If you really begin to notice these wonderful things around you, you'll be able to see that you too can be successful. If I ask you not to think about a car, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? And if I say, do not think about a red car, you will find that you automatically begin to think about this. And along the rest of your day, you will notice more of the color red car than any other cars there are. Because this has been impressed upon your mind. I say that to say that you should think about more of what is in line with what you desire. If you want growth, if you want abundance, then this is where you steer your mind into. Like I said in previous videos, we have been conditioned to think about negative things, thinking that if we, and at the same time desiring to have better results and desiring to have better lives. The illusion of success that I mentioned before is this: to think that as you see someone on a platform, you might begin to think that they have everything. You might begin to think that they are successful and that you are not. And in our coaching sessions, we train people to look at the progressive steps that they have taken from one step to the next. We also train people to think about how to work within the silence in order for them to create what they need to create. And remember that everything that you see around you right now, from the cell phone to the cars, to the airplane, to the houses, to the beds, to the small pen in your hand, everything was once a thought in the mind of someone. So what I'm saying is, if you desire for something better, if you desire to express yourself in a more favorable way, I want you to think about how you can do this through cellular work. Remember, your cells has been programmed for many years to believe what others want you to believe. Now is the time to use the space to deprogram yourself so that you can override the old programming with something new. And in order for you to do this, you will have to let your cells know the new programming of what you want to achieve. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your presence, for being here with us. If you would like to learn more about our Cellular One coaching program that shows you how to deprogram all that was programmed by someone else, and for you to reprogram yourself by allowing your cells to register something new. Remember, this work is progressive. It's not something that happens overnight, but we are willing to work with you in your desires for health, for wealth, and for all that you desire in life. See you in the next video.